Hi, I'm Flapper Jane. In the 1920s, I was referred to the world as a new breed of women who flaunted their disdain for what was considered appropriate and acceptable behavior. We were known for our excessive makeup, drinking, sex, smoking, and driving automobiles. The world was living in a period of liberalism, and we were considered the rebels. My attitude was characterized by stark truthfulness, fast living, and sexual behavior. I seemed to cling to youth as if it would leave me at any moment. I took risks and was very reckless. I wore a look called garcone, or little boy. I wound my chest with strips of cloth in order to flatten it. The waist of my clothes were dropped to the hip line, and I wore stockings which were often rolled over garter belts. The hem of my skirts rose to hang just below my knees. This somewhat overlapped just a fraction of my rolled and twisted stockings. This gave others the idea that when I walked in a bit of a breeze, they should now and then observe my knee. I also started wearing a heavy portion of makeup, including rouge, powder, and lipstick. I wanted to be different, so I smoked, something only men did. My parents were shocked, although smoking wasn't the most outrageous action I had done in my rebellious stage. I also drank alcohol. Right when the United States outlawed alcohol, many young women such as myself were starting this habit early. More than a few adults didn't like to see tipsy young women. I had a scandalous image as the giddy flapper, rouged and clipped, careering in drunken stupor to the loose strains of the jazz quartet. The 1920s was the jazz age, and one of the most popular pastimes for us was dancing. This required us to be able to move freely, something that the corset didn't allow. We replaced these iron sides with underwear called step-ins. We danced the Charleston, Black Bottom, and the Shimmy, which were considered wild by the elders. In May 1920 edition of the Atlantic Monthly, we are quoted, "They trot like foxes, limp like lame ducks, one-step like cripples, and all to the barbaric yelp of strange instruments which transform the whole scene into a moving picture of a fancy ball of bedlam." But to us flappers, the dances fit our fast-paced lifestyle. Henry Ford created the perfect form of transportation for me, the car. It was fast and risky. Not only did I insist on riding in it, but to drive it. Unfortunately for my parents, I didn't just use cars to ride in. The back seat became a popular spot for the new sexual activity, petting. This was a radical change for my parents' and grandparents' generations. During the 1920s, I broke away from the Victorian image of womanhood. I dropped the corset, chopped all my hair off, wore less clothing just so I could move around more, wore an excessive amount of makeup, created the idea of dating, and became a very sexual person. I created the new concept of new and modern woman.